Hey everyone. So what I wanted to talk to you about this week is a bit of our workflow that doesn't get a lot of attention. And that is, we don't sometimes spend enough time for ourselves. For an example, for the next week, go through and mark down how much time you spend on business, on work, on things that aren't personal, like family or relaxing. And don't include sleep in this calculation. Then figure out where you could have slipped in some time for you. And if the answer is, I couldn't, then you need to change the way you work. Now, there are several ways to do that. One is to, of course, look at your pricing. Are you charging enough for the time that you spend? I'll give you an example. A wedding photographer, from my perspective, in the way that I do photographs, seems to have a very low hourly rate. For me, when I'm working on a portrait photograph and I'm doing the full retouch on it, that can take me anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes per photograph. Now, if I'm just doing an event, cleaning it up, because I shoot in RAW, you have to have tweaks and things that you do to it. That can be a lot quicker. And there are tools out there to help you with that. And that includes retouch plugins, as well as just little tweaks that you make to a photograph that you propagate across the rest of them. For example, if you are shooting an event outside, and you have a series of photographs that are shot in the same area, so you go in and you change the contrast and the colors and things on the first one, and you like the way it looks, you can always go into something like Lightroom and then apply that set of changes across the rest of the photographs, and you immediately get a kick from that. But again, when I do portrait photography and I want to add some shadow around the face and things to pull that image out, to give three-dimensionality back to a two-dimensional image, it takes a while to do that. If that's what you're doing, then you have to make sure that the amount of hours that you're spending on the photographs for a client are being accounted for, that you're getting value for your time for doing that. Again, this is somewhere where you could look at things like tools. For example, Imagen AI allows you to feed it a series of your photographs that you retouched and have it give you basically a first pass back. It does a good job for certain things, but it's never going to do the final retouching that I do. So, for example, as I said, touching up a image in your first set because you're shooting all outdoor and applying that across, it's going to do something similar to that, a little more sophisticated than just applying a preset across all the photographs. But it's still along those lines. It's not going to do, from what I've seen, the same level of retouch for a portrait that I do. But the other thing you have to keep in mind, if all of your time is spent with work, that probably means that you're going to burn out, but your creativity will suffer. You don't have time to go look at what other people have done to see if there's anything in there that you like or could get ideas from. Any photograph can be amazing Some are planned, some are not. But by looking at what you feel are amazing photographs, you get an idea for how you want to shoot and what your voice is going to be that comes through these photographs that you make. Now, I'll give you an example here of a way to look at this. There was a school of thought where if you wanted to be something, find someone who you role model and act like them. For example, if you see somebody who does public speaking and that's what you want to do, and you see how they walk out on that stage, they've got confidence, they're ready to go. Could all be a sham, by the way, but they're projecting that level of confidence. They're projecting that image. Same thing applies for photographs. If you see a style of photography that really speaks to you and you want to do something similar to that, put yourself in the mind of the person taking the photograph, right? And picture yourself taking that photograph and then take some and see how what you did and what you were thinking compare to each other and improve yourself. But in order to do that, you have to have the time to do it. And you have to make the time to do that. You can't be constantly taking photographs and processing photographs because you're never going to have that opportunity. In addition, you're going to end up in a rut. You're going to end up doing the same type of thing that people at malls do when they take photographs. If you've ever seen a mall Photoshop, they've got a series of backdrops that they've already got set up, and the pictures that come out of there look almost identical. They get the people there, they get them posed in a certain way, they take a couple of photographs, they print them out, they move on to the next one. It's a assembly line photography. You want to be beyond an assembly line photography because if that's all you're going to do, they can just go to the mall and do that and probably get better backdrops. But you want to stand out. You want to find your voice in your art. And in order to find that voice, you have to set time aside for you. And that doesn't mean that you're setting time aside just to go look at photographs and do all this other stuff. You need to set time aside to put it all aside. To stop for a while. To do something completely and totally different. So that you can get back into the mindset when you come back from that mini vacation to look at things fresh, to look at things anew, to approach things differently. It's like the people who take I almost want to say a sabbatical from social media. Some of them never go back. But if you're always looking at the same content every single day, it just becomes monotonous and it just becomes this grind that you're going through. Kind of like if you played video games and you need to get resources and you're just doing that grind over and over and over again. So what you want to do here is stop and take some time for yourself. To treat yourself and take some time away. Let your mind refresh. Let that photographic eye of yours take some time to look at things anew, to look at things differently, to appreciate the things that you now might be taking for granted just because you do it so frequently and you do it so often. So that's what I got for you guys this week. Make sure that you learn what you want your voice to be, but at the same time, make sure you take time for yourself to appreciate yourself and your worth outside of the work that you do. And I will talk to you guys all next week.